Well, he is, and this links to the next site, which is my number 10, which is Glastonbury Tor and Glastonbury Town, which is again associated with the legend of the Holy Grail, associated with Arthurian myth, but it's real archaeology. Though there's fragments in it, is even more bizarre because that is the site where the monks dug up Arthur and Guinevere, basically to enhance their pilgrimage trade, their proto-medieval tourist trade, and so they needed relics to rival other competitor pilgrim sites, and
Wow.
it was one of the wealthiest Benedictine abbeys in the country, and the town grew up around it, around this iconic, at the base of this iconic hill, which is natural but modified, of Glastonbury Tor. But
Totally.
we do have evidence. While we don't know about the legends, the legends are all nonsense. We do know that this was a very important early Christian site from the 5th, 6th century, and it continued through the Saxon period as a powerful, important Somerset holy site. And so while there's legendary glosses, there is a genuine deep time history to the
There is.
landscape.
The hill, I mean, the hill definitely looks like it was human enhanced because of the way it's laid out. But like that's what I mean. It's gorgeous for one. What's left of it. When was this built again?
So the abbey, the Abbey ruins date from I think mainly, I mean, I'm guessing here, I haven't got it in front of me, 12th, 13th, 14th centuries. Really big, wealthy Benedictine house. But we've excavations, a lot of them very terribly bad excavations, early excavations done
Right.
badly. But we do have archaeological evidence of 7th, 8th, 9th century, 10th century, 11th century, a deep time story of the community there. And nearby, there's a place name of hinting at a British establishment, a clan name. That's a double L-A-N, clan. And obviously that means a holy site. And so we actually have a Welsh name preserved in Somerset close by, which could hint at another early church site. So this site became part of the Kingdom of Wessex, but it may have had deep British roots of Welsh speakers in that area who maintained their Christian traditions after the breakup of Rome. So while all the stuff about Joseph of Arimathea and the Holy Grail is all later garbage, at least this, and there's lots of, you go to Glastonbury today, it's hippie central. It's just full of
I can see that.
candle shops and baloney
Yeah.
and the festival, obviously. But there is a
tourism.
genuine deep time story there in the landscape beneath all the nonsense.
I mean, even when I was, when I visited England, you would have restaurants, King Arthur's Cafe, and like there's this culturally obsession with it. And so they say that they unburied. Where did they go after this? Like, if they unburied them here, where'd they put them?
Exactly, and the two Arthurian sites in my list, Glastonbury and Tintagel, I put together because there's many other sites you could go to in the hunt for Arthur, but they're the ones that I would, they're both in popular culture and in genuine evidence are worth connecting to, in my opinion.
Gotcha. What is the best argument for a real Arthur?
None. There's no compelling. There's not even slightly interesting. It's all garbage, and it attracts. This is the problem. While, say, Archeo Wolf and my American colleagues are constantly fighting against the erasure of indigenous history, and that is always going to be more important on a global scale. In my field, in the islands of Britain, one of the most insidious and most fundamentalist of pseudo-archaeologists are the Arthurian characters,
Right.
and they are really they can be very aggressive and very fervent in their hatred of academics who dismiss Arthurian legend. But we're working in the early Middle Ages. We're working from legends and fragmentary sources, And if you don't have even the most basic of training and understanding those sources, you're not going to even make the slightest bit of headway. And you need the linguistic skills, you need to understand the context in which they're written, how they're reproduced, how they're often reinterpreted. And it's only by the most naive of simplistic readings, equivalent to biblical literalists, that kind of, I'm just using that as an analogy. I don't know.
No, it's a very accurate one.
It's only that way can you even get close to a real Arthur. And the question I would say is, what for? Why do you want this? We know so little about this period, and yet the archaeology is telling us some really exciting stories about citadels and fortifications and trade and settlements and holy sites. That's cool. Why do you have to keep on trying to latch onto Arthur? Because it's lazy, stupid, old-fashioned, and dumb.
It's like chasing Bigfoot. It's like chasing Bigfoot.
It's like chasing Bigfoot. Yeah, it doesn't. And even if there was a Bigfoot out there, who cares? Leave him alone. Let
Josh Gates go do that.
Yeah. So for me, Arthurian types are. It's not just that they're fantasies, but they're dangerous fantasies because they rob. They history. Again, they don't erase indigeneity in the same way, but they are disrespecting the traditions of what we do have and the archaeological sites we do have. They're peddling nonsense, and of course there's a cross. I'm sure somewhere there's a cross reference to the other different brands of pseudo archaeology, but it's quite insidious.
Yeah, and that always frustrates me because. Like, just looking through these sites, so you can begin to see the swirl of how all of it began to connect and all of it began to come together. And to me, that's much, much, much more interesting looking at those and looking at the timelines and seeing how all these people groups mesh together to make what we now know is far more interesting than chasing some ghost of Christmas past.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.